Hello, are we on now? Welcome to Yarn Lane. Oh, look at my cardigan, everybody. Over the dress. Really pleased with this. So this is fantastic. I'm really pleased. We've done a lot of shows with West Yorkshire Spinners now, working with their yarn, and you love it and I love it, so it's all great. So a couple of weeks ago we did their new lace weight yarn, but they've also brought out new colours in the Exquisite yarn in 4-ply, and it is beautiful. It really is. Wool and silk mixed together, but in 4-ply. Anyway, to celebrate this, West Yorkshire Spinners have been working with the lovely Chloe, who we've had on before, who has designed 2 brand new patterns, and they have brought out 4 new colours of their 4-ply yarn. Now, we've got lots of different choices, and I've tried to keep it fairly simple, so I'm hoping that it is, because there are the patterns have different lengths and styles and sizes and stuff. So in order to keep it reasonably simple, if you go on to www.yarnlane.com, click on Watch Live, and then if you scroll down from there, if you look down below, you can see all the different items that we've got. So we are selling the patterns on their own and the yarn on its own, and they're 100-gram hanks. We are also selling a kit for the scarf, and we're selling Chloe's pattern book, which are different patterns. So normally, I know you know on Yarn Lane, we normally kit everything together, but the 2 new patterns that she's designed come in different lengths, and there are different sizes, and you need different numbers of hanks depending on the size. However, if you click on the website and you look on the descriptions, I've written on there, it tells you exactly how many hanks you need for what size. Because the problem is, if I did a kit that was for all sizes, then you'd be buying more hanks than you'd necessarily needed. So, for example, you want the Charlotte ruffle top. See, if you click on more details, it says there that you can see 3 hanks for a 32 to 42 inch bust. And it gives you all the details there. If you've got any questions, message us in the studio or phone the call centre. They'll be able to help you. But it just makes it so it does mean you have to buy the pattern and the yarn separately, but it does mean you can buy also. There are 4 new colours and there are 2 patterns, and we'd have so many kits, it was too complicated. So you can choose whatever colour you yarn, whatever length, whatever size, and you just make your own kit really, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start off with the 2 new patterns, and then we're going to go and talk to Chloe. So this is lovely. They're all on models. So one of them is behind me. I'm just going to bring her forward to see me. She can stand next to me. There we go. Look at this. It's like one of those ballerina tops, isn't it? And it has got the most beautiful sleeved. They're all gathered at the bottom, the lovely finished edge. And then if you turn it round, look at the back. So this is like one of those wrap tops. They're really in at the moment, really popular. And what's great about them is that it can be as tight or as loose as you need for the day on which you're wearing it, or the meal that you've just eaten. So obviously you measure yourself first, work out what size you are. The pattern features, tells you all the different sizes that you need, and it comes in 2 versions. You can either make it long sleeved. Well, it says short sleeve, but it's more, this one is like 3/4 length sleeve. So you can choose, and it tells you how to do that, and then the different numbers of hanks that you need to create it. So this is the Charlotte Ruffle wrap top. We have got it in the Dusk, it's called. It's in Dusk, which is more of a neutral colourway. That's behind Chloe, so you'll see that in a minute. So if you buy the pattern now, then we'll show you how to do the next thing. Now this one is knitted, the one that I just showed you, in this beautiful Kensington yarn. So the Exquisite wool 4-ply is 80% Falkland wool, which is really, really good quality, beautifully soft British wool, and 20% mulberry silk, which gives it a real softness and a sheen, and it is fantastic quality. It really is lovely. So go on to, if you have a look on the website, it will tell you how many hanks that you need to create the top. So the 4 new colours are, this is Kensington, which is the blue. Then there's Dusk, which is sort of peachy neutral colour. Then, I've got to remember what they're all called now, because I was remember. Wisteria, which is lovely sort of plummy purple colour. That's on the jumper behind me. Yeah, I haven't done that very nicely, have I? There we go. That's Wisteria. And then finally, this one that's called Eden, which is like this kind of appley green colour, the one there. So you can create any of the tops in any of the colours, but you just need to put the right number of hanks. And if you do have any questions, if you can't see what you need, just let us know and we'll be able to help you out with that. The other pattern that we have, so I'm just going to finish the 2 patterns, then we'll meet Chloe, is this beautiful Belle raglan sweater. So we have got the 2 of them behind me. We've got the Wisteria and the Eden, they're behind me. But let's have a look at the pattern. It's lovely. It's a really nice lace rib sweater. But it's beautiful, isn't it? Very, very affordable. And the great thing about 4-ply is it goes a long way. It goes further than double knit. Because it's finer yarn, you get more metres on your hank than you do with double knit. So you don't need as many hanks, if you see what I mean. All the information is on here about the needles you want. They are also on the website as well if you don't have the needles. This is sort of this isn't beginner, but it's not super experienced. We'll talk to Chloe about that in a minute, but it's sort of medium. I don't think you'd want to be knitting as a complete beginner. Although, I mean, you could give it a go, couldn't you? This comes in, again, long sleeve version, short sleeve version, which is more sort of 3/4 length version. You can choose that. And then it tells you how many hanks you need, depending on your size. And obviously in the pattern, you can see it in the mole, in the Wisteria and the Eden, but there's nothing to stop you because we're selling the yarn separately. You could knit it in the Kensington or the Dusk as well. So there we go. There's the pattern. So the pattern's there, £2.99 on the website, 4-ply yarn, and all the needle size and the hank size on the website, or just message us in if you've got any questions. Anyway, welcome, Chloe.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you back.
It's lovely to be here again.
Good. So tell me about the patterns. Where do you start when they call you and go, Chloe, we need some patterns? What happened? Where did you start with this?
So we did kind of put a mood board together with West Yorkshire Spinners. We've had a few ideas of what we wanted to do, and I'd done the Exquisite book before, so they were kind of like just along the similar sort of lines, really. So we kind of spring summer, so it was just kind of thinking about really kind of nice lightweight tops that you could wear out, but also would be good for a bit of evening when it does get a little bit chilly at the same time.
Okay.
So the idea with them as well, it's kind of like going from daytime to evening as well. So it's something that you can wear out through the day with like a pair of jeans and go shopping or whatever, but also you can kind of dress it up really nicely for the evening.
Yes,
so they are quite versatile in that.
It is beautiful, isn't it? It's a real statement piece.
It is lovely, isn't it? I do love that one.
It's lovely. I really like that. Well, I like the way as well because we've got different size models here. So the one, if you can see now, if you look behind Chloe, you can see the Dusk version, which we couldn't see before. And that's on a smaller model.
Yes, yes.
But the one behind me is on a bigger model. And actually it looks fine, doesn't it? It doesn't...
Yeah, they work on lots of sizes.
You don't need to be a certain size. So I think that's the problem sometimes, isn't it? You think, oh, well, I'm not going to look like that in it.
Well, I think it's nice with the peplum because it does kind of pinch you in at the waist and give you that kind of accentuates that nicely.
And it's up to you how tight you pull it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, if you've had a big meal afterwards, you can just loosen it up a bit.
Yeah, and it does go all the way around. It's lovely, isn't it? Really nice top. I love the idea of the sleeves as well. You've got them gathered. Yeah, I love a kind of balloon sleeve, and I think they're really nice in spring summer because they're not like tight against you, so they're kind of nice and flowing. And they're really simple to do, those ones as well. Because you literally just knit the cuff, like the size of what the cuff will be, and then after you've done the garter stitch and you go onto the actual sleeve, you just do one long increase row, and that makes it to the width of your sleeve, and then you just knit straight. Oh, okay.
So all you've got is one increase row. And
so is it a lot of increasing in that row then?
Yeah, it's one all the way along increasing, but after that it's just stocking stitch all the way up. Yeah. But it creates a lovely little effect on it.
So did you have any involvement in choosing the colours?
I didn't know. When I designed these, I didn't know what the colours were even going to be.
Really?
So it was a lovely surprise when I saw those colours.
I mean, they are beautiful. I love the colours that are already in their range, but these are lovely,
They're such a nice addition to it, aren't they?
I don't know which one's my favourite. Maybe this or maybe the green.
I do love that one. It's just so like spring and
it's sort of apple and spring and leaves, lovely. Isn't it? It's just beautiful.
Yeah. It's one of those ones when you're knitting, you just keep looking at it because it's just so beautiful.
It is. It's one of those colours, I think, green that suits most people as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's a really nice, fresh colour.
Yeah.
So where do we start then?
So on the ballet top. So the ballet top is
with
really,
the Charlotte
really simple,
ruffle,
to be honest. So there's only got one like small tutorial I can give you with this one because it's pretty much just stocking stitch for most of it.
Okay.
So we've got the garter stitch at the bottom, which just creates a nice little border to it. So we do that on 3.25mm needles.
Right.
And then we go up to the 4mm for the stocking stitch.
Okay.
So it makes just kind of a looser knit for the stocking stitch. You kind of get a nice flowy feel to it. The reason we do the garter stitch on 3.25 is just garter likes to kind of flare out.
Okay.
So if we do it on the same needle, it can just kind of create a little bit of a ripple. So you do the garter on a smaller needle, then you just do the stocking stitch on a 4mm to create a looser knit. And I'm just going to be showing you how to just do the little peplum here.
Okay.
So how we get the nice little gather.
Yeah, so it's funny, it's like the sleeve, it goes small and big, and this does the other way round.
Yeah, so it's kind of opposite. Yeah, I didn't think of that. So I've just done a little sample of the garter at the bottom.
Oh,
and
okay,
then
leave that, let's, we can see that.
So I've got the garter at the bottom, and then I've just done a little bit in stocking stitch.
See, it looks like more of a pattern, that, doesn't it? But it's a nice, it's just a few rows of garter, isn't it?
But I think it just finishes it off and gives it a nice, I think it accentuates the ruffles on it as well.
And this yarn does have a really nice sheen to it, which I presume is the silk.
Yes, it is, yeah. Yeah, but it just really kind of brings out all the stitches to it.
Does it make it, because I haven't knitted with it, does it make a difference because it's got silk in it? Does it feel different to knit with?
It's lovely to knit, it just really does slide off the needles, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really nice one to knit with, it is, yeah.
And you do need to pre-wind your balls. I forgot to say that when we did lace weight. You must pre-wind your balls because if you knit off a hank, it will tangle.
I've never tried that yet.
I have.
Have
and
you?
I've done it once because I didn't know. This is years ago. I never realised you had to, and it just the whole thing just ended up. And you cannot untangle it.
It's
please do pre-wind your balls. We do have ball winders on the website if you need one, but please do pre-wind them. Do you just wind yours by hand?
I do, yeah. Okay. I like doing that, yeah. I have a cat at home though, so she really likes it when we're winding them. She really likes to get involved with that.
Do wind them in a ball because you will get into a terrible mess.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. So I'm just going to be literally showing you just decrease row back. So all we're literally going to do is just purl free tog all the way along to create the decrease row. And I'll just show you that, and you'll just see at the end how it creates a lovely kind of ruffle to it. So this is on the 4mm needles, so it's a slightly bigger needle than you would usually use on them, but it just does give like a nice kind of thinner fabric to it. So we're just going to purl free tog. So rather than you usually do a purl 2.
Yeah, I think you just need to go left, but I think you've just crashed
with
the
there we go. So I'm just going to go into the next 3 stitches. My first stitch is going a bit funny there. So we're going through 3. Whoop. And then just purling them all together, and we're going to do the same all the way along, and that just makes our ruffle. So it's just that simple. So I think this is a really nice one that could be for a more beginner person as well, because you've literally got garter stitch, stocking stitch, a little bit of increasing and a bit of decreasing.
So if you were a very give it a go confident beginner,
yeah, definitely, yeah. Or if you've done like a scarf beforehand or something,
yeah, scarf first,
yeah. Yeah.
We've got a very nice scarf kit coming up in a moment.
Yes. So the only difference is usually you'd kind of be used to doing a purl 2 tog. So this one, rather than purling 2 stitches together, we're just going through 3 stitches at the same time.
So you just put it through all 3.
Through all 3 of them.
Serious decrease.
So yeah, it's decreasing from 3 stitches to 1. So the peplum's like 3 times the size of the waist.
Right.
So it just creates a lovely, lovely ruffle effect to it. So yeah, we're just going across.
So why do you do that on the purl row then, not the knit row? Is there a reason?
It just makes it a bit of a neater finish to it.
Okay.
And then after that we do a few rows in garter, so just knitting back and forth.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that because that doesn't look like garter.
No, it is, yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like, yeah, I don't know why. Maybe because the needles are bigger?
Yeah, maybe.
It looks like sort of a row of bricks.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, yeah.
But maybe it's the bigger needles. Do you go back to the smaller needles?
On that bit, you do actually go back to the smaller needles. Maybe that's why it looks slightly different.
So the decrease in the garter is in big needles.
Yes.
And then you go back to the small.
Just to do like the bit at the waist, just to kind of nip it in a little bit more.
I love it. I want one of them.
Bless you. So we'll just go to the end. So you can just see here how I've done the decreases.
It looks nice with trousers or a skirt as well. I've noticed on the models.
I think either. And you
I don't
just
know
get
whether I would
there.
either do the apple green. Well, it's not called apple green, it's called Eden, or the blue one. Don't know. Tricky.
All the colours are lovely is the thing. Yeah, it's a hard decision.
Well, purple, I can't wear purple. I don't look right in purple. I think it either suits you or it doesn't it? It's a lot of colours like that.
Do you know what you mean? But yeah, we've just done like that row of decrease. So you can just see how it's just on that.
Okay.
And
Oh,
just
lie
create
it
the
flat
ruffles.
and then we can get...
Show it there.
Yeah, that's good. Then we can get a little close-up. Okay, so that really pulls it in.
It just really pulls it in, yeah.
And then you garter stitch
And
after
you just
that.
garter stitch afterwards, then go up in stocking stitch. So, yeah,
Okay.
really
And
simple,
then the
that
sleeves
one.
are done almost the opposite way round.
Opposite way, yes. You'll do a few rows garter, a quick increase row.
And is that like an increase in every stitch?
Yes, that's
Okay.
increasing 1 stitch into 2 in that one.
And then that
yeah.
gives that balloon. Did
Yeah.
it take a while to work that out, how much you needed to increase?
It can do, yeah. When you've got like cuff sizes and then the size of the sleeve, it can be quite a fiddly one to work out. But once you've got it, it is really easy to do.
because you have to work.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of maths involved.
Oh, well, I'm
yeah.
sure, you know, because how much do you want it to increase by and whether
Yeah.
you need to do more than that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all in these. And that is this beautiful Charlotte ruffle wrap top, which is the pattern that's on screen now. It's only £2.99. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's like really lovely printing. I like the way it's got the photos because when you're knitting something,
Yeah.
you really want to see them.
Yeah.
You know, particularly you need to see the back.
Yeah, it's nice to imagine it as you're going along at what stage you're at with it.
And it does. So you will need, I'm going to tell you very, very quickly, you will need, if you're making the 28 to 38 inch bust, you will need four hanks. This is if you're doing the long sleeve version. And if you've got a 40 inch to a 50 inch, you'll need 5 hanks. You just need to pick your colour. You need to pick your colour. So there are 4 colours. Wisteria, which is this beautiful sort of plummy shade. Eden, which is this apple green one, which is the most popular. That's
Is
probably because
it?
it's our most favourite.
Yeah, convinced
isn't
them.
it? So basically, you're going to need 4 or 5 hanks of this, depending on your size. Unless you're the short-sleeved 28-inch bust, and then you'll need 3. But other than that, it's going to be 4 or 5. The blue, which is called Kensington, which is a real sort of soft, like a denim blue.
Yeah,
Would you say
yeah,
denim blue?
definitely. Yeah, very denim kind of shade. Yeah.
And then this one, which I really struggle to describe, that's dusk. Champagne?
Yeah, that's a good name for it, champagne. Yeah, it is a beautiful colour.
Yeah.
It's like rose gold almost.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So it is, yeah, sort of like a rose gold, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
That kind of colour. And you basically, I mean, you will need 3 if you've got a 28-inch bust and you're doing the short sleeve version. Other than that, it's 4 or 5. But please just look on the website. I've written it all down there for you. So pattern number 2 is this beautiful Belle raglan sweater.
Yes.
So tell me about this then.
So this
What
one...
inspired you?
Ooh, I'm trying to remember back now.
Yes. Cast your mind
Past the
back.
back.
What inspired you?
I do just love a raglan in general. I had a bit of a...
Shall I bring the green one forward to...
I've had a moment this year where I've just loved designing raglans. They've been in everything. But I just love the idea of kind of creating a raglan. But
And that's the name of the sleeve?
That's the sleeve. So that's where you get this
Right.
kind of diagonal shaping.
There we go.
Is a raglan.
Okay.
But I just love the idea of creating it with the rib going up, and then it kind of just creates that lovely kind of contrast of where you're getting your raglan shaping.
That's lovely, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? It's almost like a feather.
Yeah. Do I need to move over a bit? There we go. Oh no, I cannot do this backwards
Like
thing.
doing
You'd
a
have
little
learned that
dance.
by now, wouldn't you? But it's lovely the way that it does go down, and it's I guess it's quite warm in that it traps.
Yeah.
But then cool that it lets the air out.
Yeah, it's a bit of both, isn't it? And because it's in a rib, it kind of stretches and yeah.
It's a lovely fit. Well, I tried to put it on, but my sleeves are too big, so I couldn't. But and it's a nice sort of loose neck as well.
Yeah,
it's not too
it's
tight.
nice and comfortable.
Now we've got it here in Eden
Yeah.
and Wisteria, but obviously you can knit it in Kensington blue or champagne dusk. We're renaming the colours. So you can choose which one you knit it in, and you obviously just need to choose the number of hanks. And this is almost the same, but it's 4 or 5 hanks, but you'll just need to have a look on the website to see exactly, just make sure. And the short sleeve version isn't really short, is it?
No, it's kind of like a 3/4 length
3/4
sleeve.
length.
Yeah.
So can you see the purple one? Do I need to bring her? I'm just surrounded by people now.
You've got a little party going on.
I know this one's really tall though. Yeah, this is the only way like you're allowed to be not standing next to someone.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a 2-metre gap now. Gosh, look, I look like I'm ridiculously small though.
It's a COVID safe
that
party.
high? It's just ridiculous. Anyway, that's the beautiful colour. They're laughing. Can you stop laughing? That's the lovely wisteria colour. It's so soft though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a lovely yarn.
It is nice. I do like this where the two go together. So is this one tricky?
Not really, no. It's a bit more tricky because you've got it with the raglan, but the actual lace pattern is only a 2-row repeat.
Okay.
So it is really simple with that. So you've got the lace row, which is your right side row, and the row back is just knit 2 purl free. So I'll show you the lace row.
Is there a chart or is it words?
There's not a chart,
oh, that's good. I like that.
It's really simple.
Words.
So I'll show you on here. So I've kind of done the little kind of feather bit in the middle that kind of mirrors that shape on the raglan we were talking about. So it creates, you've got that kind of feather shape there. And then if you look at the actual knit of the bit in between the kind of 2 knit stitches, you get that same kind of feather shape. So that's why it's the feather rib raglan I went for.
Oh, so that's the feather and then the rib.
The rib in between, yeah.
At least it makes it very interesting to knit.
Yeah. But it's really simple. So firstly you just go and knit 2. And then we create our feather shape. So to do that, first we do a yarn forward, so that's creating our loop. And then we just slip 1 stitch and then we knit these next 2 together. And then after that, that stitch that we've slipped, we then pass that over the knit 2 tog. So that's creating 3 stitches into 1. So that's creating like a little kind of knot bit in the middle.
Right.
But then we do another yarn over afterwards. So we've still got our 3 stitches from our 2 loops at the side. Then you just knit 2 again, yarn over, slip 1, knit the next 2 together, and then that slip one that we did, we just take over the knit 2 tog, then yarn over again. So you get the 2 holes either side and then like a little kind of knot in the centre that creates our feather effect. So once you get used to it, it's really simple to do. So you just go and yarn over, slip 1, then knit in the next 2 together. Then that slip 1 we're just taking over our knit 2 tog, then yarn over again and knit in 2. So it is similar to a rib, but we've just got the lace going in the middle.
Yeah, so you've got your normal rib, but instead of just
like
pearls in there,
yeah.
You've got a lacy pattern, which makes it so much nicer, doesn't it? And I think it suits this yarn really well because it's got the silk, the sheen on it.
Yeah, it really shows the stitch definition beautifully. It does. But it's quite nice once you've knit a few rows in it. You can see where like your two knits.
Yes, I guess once you've got a few rows started, you can see the pattern quite easily then, can't you? But it's a bit more interesting than just stocking stitch, isn't it?
Yeah.
And again, you've got a nice sleeve on here.
Yeah, we do like the
a big
sleeve.
increase.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really, I love that.
But we just really want it to be quite a fluid one, and because of like the holes in it, you want it to just kind of like have the breeze flow through.
Yeah, you don't want it to,
really
it's not super tight or fitting, is it?
No, which you don't really want it for that sort of. No.
And what's quite nice in the pattern is it does tell you about, the size of it, so you can really work that out. So it's the actual size, the full length, the sleeve length. So it does give you a lot, because I think sometimes patterns don't always give you all of those measurements.
Yeah, it can be hard to decide which size.
I mean, if you're sort of very close between one size and the other, it's difficult to know. Well, we've had a lot of people asking you about the pattern book. So these are Chloe's brand new patterns that using the brand new colourways of the 4-ply Exquisite West Yorkshire Spinach yarn. They have been doing the Exquisite 4-ply yarn for a while, and they have had previous colours. And Chloe designed, so we thought we'd bring her pattern book as well. So Chloe designed all the patterns in this pattern book. So when did you do this?
This was last February, I think. This one came out. It's about a year ago. Yeah.
But obviously we weren't here then. Otherwise, clearly we would have launched it. So we're having to work backwards and catch up with all the things, aren't we? Now we haven't got the yarn from this book because otherwise we'd have had so much. It was just too complicated, so much on. But we have got. It is obviously the same brand. It's the Exquisite. It's the 4-ply. But we have got all the patterns here. So the pattern book is $12.95, and these are the patterns. I'm going to go through the book, and then we've got a few of them. Well, I'm wearing one of them. We have a few of them on the set, included by all my friends. I think they must be around you. So I'll bring them out as they arrive. So This is from Day to Night as well,
Yes,
isn't it?
yeah, so it's the same sort of.
So what
idea
was
we
the
went for.
inspiration? So I'm wearing this. We've got the long sleeve cardigan, which is on that one there,
yes,
next
yeah.
to Chloe. I'm wearing. I love this. Is my favourite. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's lovely, isn't it?
Because it's
Yeah.
just like a little.
Yeah, just a little pullover. Yeah.
But like a cardigan without buttons or anything. It's just
Yeah.
warm.
Yeah. A little bit of an extra layer for you.
And lots of nice lace pattern as well. Is it? I presume it's knitted that way.
Yes, yeah, it is. Yes, you knit.
Really lovely. So this is the whole day to night thing. So
Yes.
it depends on how you wear it or what you wear it with, whether you dress it up or down. And then those are the colours in the new yarns. So which are the one? There was 1, 2. There's 8 different designs in here. We have got the scarf, which is called Amelia shawl. Isn't that beautiful? So again, this is using the 4-ply yarn. So although this is in the sort of the black and the grey, it would look beautiful in the new colours as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know which ones I would put together. Maybe the blue and green because they're my favourite ones.
Oh, see, I'd put the
It
the
does
rose gold
really.
and the purple.
Yeah, it does drape beautifully. So that's a lovely, lovely shawl. We should go through and I'll tell you how much yarn you need for that one. So you need 1 hank of each, 1 of each colour to knit the shawl. Then we've got, because we're doing this in order. Try and get it all. The cardigan that's behind you.
Yes, yeah.
That's really nice. So what's the inspiration behind that one?
So when we were designing these ones, it was when I started designing them before the Exquisite yarn was actually finished yet, so we didn't quite know what it was going to look like yet. So they told me this yarn's called Exquisite, and we want to do kind of some nice luxury knitwear, and that's what we had to go off. So
And that was
like,
it?
Oh, okay then. So my idea for it was like I wanted to create some designs that you could wear around the office or you could go shopping in, but then at the same time you can dress up, go out in.
Yes.
And I wanted to create something that was really versatile. And if you're having something that's luxury, you want to be able to use it a lot.
Yes, you do.
That's the thing.
Yes.
Yes, I kind of looked a lot at like different vintage patterns and then kind of a lot more contemporary fashion and just tried to create something that was always really classic but really versatile and really wearable.
And that cardigan is, because it's a nice length, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's not sort of a really short little cardigan,
No.
but it is an absolute classic. But I like the way that you've put the rib going down the front and across the bottom.
Yeah, it just kind of creates a nice finishing for
And then
it.
echoed on the top of the pockets as well.
Yeah.
So that would look lovely. I mean, that's obviously in a cream colour, but any of the new colours, it would look stunning in it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So if you want to know about any particular yarns, then do ask us, because all of the yarn quantities are all in here, about how many different hanks you will need. But we're just selling the pattern book for this, but if you wanted any of the yarn as well. Then we have, which other ones have we got? We've got this one. This is the Julia all over lace top. I'm going to put it there. We have got a picture of it as well. Isn't that beautiful? It's lovely because it's got a little short sleeve, so it's really good. You could wear it in the summer, but you could also layer it. It would look nice,
with
wouldn't
like
it?
a turtleneck or something underneath. Yeah.
Or just a
see
long
that.
sleeve top.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's nice when you wear things like that to have a bit of a cover up that sort of
Yes.
just loosely flows
Yeah.
over it. That's beautiful, isn't it? This yarn is so lovely. You can, in all of the garments. So you get 8 patterns in this book. That's quite a lot, isn't it? A lot of patterns. They're always really good value. They West Yorkshire Spinners pattern books, and I know they're always popular with our viewers. That's a lovely one. So that's the Julia all over lace top. There's the Gabrielle fan and feather panel top. Have you got the image, Kat, of the Chloe Belle shaped lace top? Because we haven't got that, and that's one of my favourites. That's a really stunning sleeve.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen quite a few people knitting that one.
But
And it looks
there's the bigger
beautiful.
picture of it. It's just beautiful, isn't it? That's a serious gather as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I do like a gather.
Was that as big as
That's very
peplum?
similar to the peplum.
Oh,
That's-
okay.
Yeah, very similar done. Yeah.
There's a picture. And look, it goes all the way around the bottom as well. I mean, that is a beautiful one. That must have taken. Do these not take absolutely ages to design?
take a little while, but they're enjoyable to do.
No,
though.
well,
It's just
I know
fun.
you love
it's
it.
in your element, yeah.
Well, I know that,
Yeah,
but they
so-
must take, to work out all the maths behind that and the
Yeah.
pattern and to get it correct as well. There are also two scarves in here. One of them is the yellow one. Is that one joined together?
That one is, yes. It can be a snud or a scarf.
Oh,
you can
okay. So
join it
I've got the
together.
black one here. And then the mustard yellow one there is they're just
Yeah.
joined together. There's a picture of our model wearing it. Their model, not our model. I would imagine that just uses a hank, does it?
I think that one might use just over that one.
You've got to find the
I think it might be
pattern.
in the back, that one.
Okay. It is beautiful, isn't it? Oh yeah, you need two for the scarf or the snood. But it is beautifully produced. I mean, all of you Yarn Lane viewers have seen the West Yorkshire Spinners pattern books before. And I like the way it's ring bound as well.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier when you're doing the patterns, doesn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
So what were you going to show us from the pattern book?
So from the pattern book, I've got a sample for the fan and feather one.
Okay.
And then I've got a sample for our snood
Right.
as well.
Okay.
So which one
Start
would
with
you like?
fan and feather.
Fan and
Fan
feather
and
one,
feather.
yeah?
That's have you got a picture of that one? That's this
That's
one,
that
isn't
one
it?
there, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't got that one. So we could only have. That's an amazing design down the centre.
Thank you. The idea for that was I'd been doing a fan and feather on something else, and when you do a fan and feather, it creates like this curve at the bottom. So I show you on this sample, it creates this natural curve in the knit.
Oh, okay.
So when I was doing it, I was like, this would create a lovely neckline. So on this one, you actually
I
knit
see
from
what
the
you mean.
top
Well, I was
down.
thinking because that doesn't. So how do you compensate at the other end?
You just kind of have a nice
just
curve
works.
at the bottom as
Oh.
well. So it curves at the top for the neckline, and then you just get a nice curve at the
That's
hem
very
as well.
clever, isn't it?
So it's quite an interesting one because you don't just knitting top down rather than
Yeah.
other way around, but you don't even need to do any shaping for the neckline.
It just does it all
'cause
for
it
you.
does it all for you, yeah. And this is another one that it's a 6-row repeat, but it is actually a very simple pattern. For 5 of the rows, it is just knitting and purling, and then we just do 1 row of actual lace pattern, which
Oh, and that's a neat,
creates
gorgeous
this
Eden
effect.
colour.
Yeah, I thought I'd knit it in this one. It is lovely. So I'll show you how to do this one. So literally what we'll do is we'll do some decreases, and then we create our increases, which are our little lace holes. Then we work our middle, then our increases and decreases, and that creates the curve shape to
Okay.
it. So to do that one, we firstly just knit 2 at the edge. So on that jumper, the sides of it are just stocking stitch, and then you've got the fan and feather
Oh
in the
yes,
centre.
yes. So the fan and feather's just down the centre
Yeah.
of it.
So once we've got to the middle bit, we've knit 2, and then we just knit 2 tog. So knit 2 together and knit 1, and you work that 4 times. So they're all worked 4 times as well, so it's quite nice. So I've done that 2. So then again, just knitting 2 together, knit 1, then knitting 2 together, knit 1. So that's our decrease done. So now we're going to work the increase, which makes our holes and creates the shape.
Okay, and that's what makes it suddenly widen in the middle.
Yes,
and
yeah.
gives you that
So
little
for that
dip.
one, we just literally yarn forward, so yarn over the needle, then knit 2, then again yarn over, knit 2, and again do that 4 times, yarn over, knit 2, then yarn over and knit 2 again. And that's created the first half of our curve. And then for middle, we just knit across 4, and that's just creating a nice kind of straight section to it.
Okay.
So that's creating a nice kind of straight bit along the neckline. So we work 4 across, and then we're back to the increase section, but this time we're going to knit 2.
Oh, so that
So you kind
bit
of-
is runs down the centre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and now we're
all
back
making
past the
sense.
centre, and we're reversing it. So we've knit 2, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over, then knit 2 and over, knit 2, and then we're back to our decreasing again. So then I'm just going to undoing. Yeah. So we're going to yarn over 1 more time, and then we're knitting 1 and knitting 2 tog, and then we're doing that 4 times again, and that creates the shape. So it is really simple, but it does just create a lovely effect to it.
Now you recommend putting markers on this. Do you always do that when you're doing a lace pattern?
I do think it makes it easier because you know where to start the lace always. You can kind of see where it is, but sometimes if you're watching TV at the same time or something,
yeah.
you
So
can
we've
kind
got. I
of
mean,
go
we've
a
got
bit
stitch
ahead.
markers here if you need them because they're just £1.99, but they are what you need to just pop
just
in there.
pop
They're
them in
Knit
and-
Pro
yeah.
one, which we like.
Yeah, I just think they're a nice little reminder. So you've done your stocking stitch and then they're just there before you go into the lace panel.
Yeah, so
you
just
don't
in case
forget
you're
and
one
knit
stitch
one,
off.
two more or
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, yeah, they're just a nice little reminder there for
And what
you.
do you put them in? Do you take them out and then knit the stitch and then put them in?
I do that, or I sometimes just have them like on the row below and just kind of keep moving them up as I go along.
Okay.
Yeah, or you can just slip them off the needle as well and have them actually on the needles. But either way, yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I just wondered if do you knit over them and does that leave a gap, or do you take them off? And
No,
then...
I usually, if you want to have it on, I usually just like pin it onto the side of like the row below. So you'd like pop it there, and then you'd kind of see when you're coming up to it and know where to stop.
Right.
Or you can actually have it on the needle, and then you just when you slip it,
Oh,
and just knit over and.
Oh, and then
Yeah.
and then put it back. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I know, because I always think I'm never sure whether to put them on before or after, but if you
They
just
can be
slip them off.
confusing, but yeah, they are really useful.
That's so clever. That must have been amazing when you worked that out. It just works out top
It does
down.
help, yeah.
I know, but it's little things like that. I mean, that
Yeah.
makes a really stunning top. You would never be able to buy anything like that, would you?
That's true. And you've made it yourself, so you've got that nice connection to it as
I
well,
know.
which is always lovely.
And you can make it in any of the 4 new colours.
Exactly.
Which we can't decide between. I love this one though. This is my favourite. I might have to knit one of these. Not sure whether it goes with my dress. Although it's right. That's the right length.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it goes.
So the next one is the scarf.
Yes, yeah.
So we've had a message from Kate who said she just had to buy this book because she loves it.
Oh, bless.
A lot of people are loving it. Well, it is beautiful. So the one that I'm wearing is this one, the Julia cardigan. Love that. How much do you need for that? How much do I need? It's just I just write a shopping list while I'm doing this. Oh yeah, so you need mainly three hanks. The bigger, the top 2 sizes, so 44 to 50 inch bust, you need 4 hanks, but all the others you need 3. So that's not too bad, is it?
That's quite a nice one to knit as well, because that's rather than knitting front and back separately, you knit it all in one.
Oh, okay.
So you cast on the back, knit all the way up the back, and then leave half your stitches on a holder, then knit along, and that's your front.
Oh, okay.
Do the other front, and you can either sew it together or have it like you're wearing it, so
Gosh,
it can be a
that's
top or a
good, isn't it?
cardigan.
Right, scarf. Oh, so a lot of people have asked about the mustard yarn. No, we haven't got that because it's not one of the new colours, and we're only doing the new colours. But you can knit the scarf
Yes.
in the new colours,
Yes,
even though.
yeah.
But Chloe's showing it to us in the new ones.
Yes, yeah. So I've got my little sample of the scarf just here as well. So I've chose to do the sample of the scarf because the one that you're wearing there, you've got the lace after the panels.
Yes.
So it's very similar stitch to the one that's on the snud as well.
Oh, okay.
So if you can kind of
Which
see
is
how
this one
one's-
here?
Yeah, it's very similar done.
Okay.
So if you can see how this one's done, it's very similar to what that is. Same with your panel is similar to the
scarf that we're going to show you in a minute.
later, yeah. So if you see them, they're very similar.
Oh, okay.
So this one's quite a dense knit. You can probably feel it on that one. And that's because we've only got one row, but it's just repeating that row. And every single actual knit stitch you're doing is a knit 2 together. So it is kind of creating quite a dense knit as you're going up.
Right.
But it creates a lovely fabric to it.
It does actually. I mean, it is
Yeah.
very thick. It's a beautiful scarf. Really nice.
So it is a nice bit of warmth to it. And it's
I like
nice because
that.
it is reversible as well. Both
Yeah, well, I was
sides
trying
are
to
the
work out where
same.
the right side was, but I
Yeah,
couldn't
no,
find
if you look
one.
at both sides, they are exactly the same.
It's very nice. I'm on a scarf, jumper. Just need a
The
hat
whole
now.
lot. So yeah, this one is just a one row repeat. So once you've learnt the first row, you can just keep going with it. So we have a little border either side. So firstly, we just slip one and then knit one. And then we go into the actual pattern. So the actual pattern, we do a yarn forward, then we slip one purlwise. So you always kind of want to slip purlwise if you can, because when you slip purlwise, it just keeps the stitch the same way.
Okay, can we see
You can see if I
that?
show when I'm slipping
Yeah.
purlwise, the stitches stayed the same. Whereas if I slip this knitwise, actually twists the stitch.
Yes.
If
So
you slip it
slipping
purlwise,
Oh, so you just put the needle into the
into
front.
the front of it rather than the back.
Okay.
And it just keeps it at the same.
And that's slip purlwise.
Yes, yeah. Then once we've slipped purlwise, we're then knitting 2 together, but we're doing it through the back of the loop. So rather than usually you'd go front to back,
Yes.
we're actually going through the back of it and knitting the back parts of the loops.
Yes.
Like so. And then we just literally do that again. So you just yarn over, slip one purlwise, then knit 2 together through the back of loop. And that's the pattern repeat.
Wow.
So literally yarn over, slip one purlwise, knit 2 together through the back of the loop, and you just carry on like that.
And that's the scarf.
And that's the scarf. But when you're doing that, it kind of reverses where the knit 2 together is on each row. So you get the little
I see.
crisscross effect of it.
Yes, so it changes the position, so
Yeah,
it's
so
not
that
always
makes
in
it
the same
reversible.
place.
Yeah. So you just get that nice crisscross effect. So it's nice it's got a nice rhythm to it, this one.
I love all your patterns. They all have these like really interesting twists to them, so they're not just sort of increase and decrease. They've all got something about them, whether there's a special pattern to them.
Nice to know.
Like your
Thank
when we
you.
did your colour lab last time, and that amazing slip stitch thing. Still can't get over. It's incredible.
I just like to have fun with it.
I
you
know,
what
but
mean?
there's just like really
play with it.
interesting takes on it, so it's not just sort of like make it bigger and smaller.
Yeah.
Things like that are really,
Oh, that's good to know.
really
Thank
nice.
you.
But they're just things that, you know, I have done quite a lot of knitting and crochet, but I've never come across all these different, like, where have I missed all of these things? 'Cause it's not just about lace patterns that you do, it is other things as well, like the sort of the slipping and that, you know, creates this lovely thing, but it's not a rib, it shovels it over.
Yeah.
So you get that nice effect. Well, so that is the pattern book with these beautiful 8 patterns in it for, well, there's a lot of different options between them. So like the top that I'm wearing now, underneath the scarf, I might take the scarf off now, that can be a cardigan or a jumper. So I'm wearing the cardigan, but this is the jumper version of it, isn't it? That's I hadn't realised that. So this one here is the same pattern, but joined together, really.
Yeah. So you can knit it and you can decide after you've finished it if you want it to be a cardigan or a jumper as well.
Yeah.
'Cause they're exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's lovely, you know. So although you've got 8 patterns, you've actually got more than that because there's a lot of different options with it. All using the 4-ply yarn, and obviously we have the new colours of it. So the last thing that I want to show you, this one is I've actually made a kit for you, because it only uses one hank, so this was easy. So this is designed by Chloe, this beautiful Eve fishtail scarf, and it is knitted. Now this is one of the old colours, so I wanted to do it in the original in the 4-ply in Bayswater. Now I wanted to borrow the scarf, but we couldn't because West Yorkshire Spinners, I don't know, they couldn't find it or they'd lost it. So one of my wonderful, wonderful knitters, Maggie Priestley, she knitted this for us. Now I promise Maggie you will have it back, but look at that. And she knitted it in like a couple of weeks as well.
Wow, bless her.
And it is beautiful, isn't it? So I did promise her, thank you so much, and you will have it back. But it is yeah, maybe. No, you will. You will definitely have it. So in this bundle, $14.75, you get the patterns, beautiful quality pattern, all photographed, everything you need to know. You need 1 hank of yarn for it, and it's in this Bayswater, which is a real sort of deep teal, I'd say.
Yeah.
Teal,
Yeah,
peacock,
teal sort of colour, yeah.
that kind of colour. But
Yeah.
isn't it gorgeous?
It's beautiful.
I might put it on in the glory, but look at the pattern on it. If I lay it down flat, look at the pattern when you open it up. So it's called the Fishtail,
Yes, yeah.
which it is. And she did say that it was amazing to knit with.
Oh, good.
It was amazing to knit with, and she really, really enjoyed it. So where do we start with this? Because it looks difficult.
It's not that difficult, I promise.
Okay.
It's not. So it's an 8-row repeat. So I've done a little sample of it just here. Just done a small version of it. So our first row of it is just knitting and purling. And that's you're starting about here. So we're creating a nice little kind of separation, and then you'll work the holes afterwards. So how it works is, so for our row 3, we'll do the 2 edge holes here, and then row 5, you'll do those ones, and then row 7, we do the middle ones. So you're just kind of working in on the triangle.
I'm going to read the pattern.
And again, all the purl row backs are all the same as well. So they're nice and easy to do once you've got the hang of those ones. So we always start with a knit 2 at the beginning, so that just creates a nice
that
border.
creates the border. Because it's a very sort of evening and day scarf, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it could be either, yeah. And I like even the back of it it's nice with the rib on.
You know, it's actually.
So then we do our purl 2. So between each of the fishtails, there's like a purl 2, and that's just to kind of separate them up so you can just see them a little bit better, and it just gives it a bit more structure, I think. So I've done the first 2 rows, so I'm on the 3rd row now, which is the start of the lace knitting.
Okay.
So I've knit 2 and then purl 2, and then I'm putting my yarn over my needle, so you're getting the loop. And then what I'm going to do is SSK, so that's a decrease. So we slip 2 stitches, and these ones we're slipping knitwise. And then after we've slipped those 2, we're putting our needle through the front of them and then knitting them together. And that creates a left leaning decrease. So that's creating the start of your fishtail.
Right.
So that's that done.
Oh, that's
and
making
then
it's going that way.
We're just knitting 3 across, so that's our middle. And then we want to do our right leaning decrease. So to do that, we're going to knit 2 tog on the other side, so knit 2 together. And that's our right leaning decrease. And then we're just doing a yarn over and round again, and that's creating our bottom hole here.
Oh, so the yarn over makes a hole.
It does, yeah.
Right.
But for this one, you've got to do the yarn over, but then you've got to go around as well, because we've got 2 purl stitches next.
Okay.
So if we just
so
went
you need
yarn
to
over,
create one
it
for
wouldn't
them.
create one. So then we're just doing purl 2, and then you just repeat that again. So we've got our yarn round needle, then SSK, so slipping 2 stitches, then knitting them together for our left leaning decrease, then knit 3 along, and then we do our knit 2 together, and then our yarn over and round, and then our purl 2. And you just repeat that to the end, so going again, yarn over needle, doing an SSK, so slipping the 2 stitches, knitting them together. Let's try them again. And then knitting 3, and then I knit 2 tog and I yarn over, which is creating that end one. And then we have our purl 2, knit 2 at the end. And as you go along, so the next row is just really simple. You just knit 4 and then purl 7, knit 2, and you can see on the back where that rib's forming in the middle, so those purl 2 stitches, you get that kind of little rib effect. And then as we work up, in the middle of that one we did knit 3, so the next one, rather than starting with our yarn over and then SSK, you'll knit 1, yarn over SSK, then just knit 1 in the centre.
Right.
And then go again. So it's just moving those loops.
So if you show us the next row.
So I'll do our wrong side row first. That's our nice simple row. So we're just knitting 4 and then purling 7. And I always think it's quite nice when you've got a nice easy wrong side row, because it just gives you a little breather between your...
But it's lovely, isn't it? Because it's not too wide. It doesn't take long to do each row, but every row's different, so you wouldn't. So it's not boring at all.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then I always find things grow a bit more quickly then. Because I think, well, I'll just do 1 pattern repeat.
Yes, yeah. I like to work in pattern repeats.
And then you think, oh, I'll just do another one.
Yeah, yeah.
and then
it's like a book. Like, I'll just read 1 more chapter.
But she does, yeah, it's a bit like the last chapter, but it is beautiful, and it's amazing, isn't it, that you can knit the whole thing from 1 hank as well.
It is, isn't it? That's the lovely thing about 4-ply. That is just...
I love that colour as well.
So I've worked our wrong side row back. So now we're on to the 5th row, so we're doing our next 2 holes. That's these 2 here. And that's, we've done our bottom 2, and then we're working our 2 nearer to the top. So to do those ones, again, we start with a knit 2, and then a purl 2. And then before we went straight into our yarn forward, for this one we want to knit the first stitch, then do our yarn forward and our SSK. So it's just moving them in one stitch.
To see how you, when you've made a wind round stitch, how easy it is to knit.
Yeah, it is. It's really easy.
Yeah, it?
You've got to kind of remember that they're there, but yeah, it's not bad at all. No.
Because it's a bigger stitch, isn't it, that you're knitting into?
Yeah, yeah. So we've done that, and then before we had knit 3 in the middle, now we've just got our 1 stitch in the middle.
Okay.
And then we're doing our knit 2 tog, and then yarn over again. And then here we've just got 1 extra stitch this side now, so we're just knitting that.
Which is your sort of loose made up stitch.
Yeah. And then we've got our purl 2 again. And then we go knit 1, yarn over, then our SSK to decrease it in. Then knit 1, then we're doing knit 2 tog, yarn over, and then we've just got our knit one at the end, and our purl twos in between.
It's really nice to be able to actually see it, because so many times you read the patterns and you think, well, I'm not absolutely sure, but you've never see a video of someone actually doing it to see how it works.
It can look difficult in the patterns, but once you get used to it, it's
yes.
really
Well,
simple.
I did wonder about the sort of the big baggy stitch. So a message from Jennifer says, can you join it up to make it into a snood?
Yeah, of course you could. Yeah.
And how would you do that? Just
so on this one, it's got like 2 kind of garter edges. So we did about, I think it's about 8 rows of garter stitch. So rather than doing that, you could just do 2 rows of that at the beginning, so you've got a nice kind of small border to it, and then 2 rows at the end, so you've got a small border, and literally just mattress stitch that together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you don't even need to knit it together.
No, you just mattress stitch it together afterwards with a little seam. So I think this one's the same. We've got a little seam. I think it's at the back of this one.
And that's just sewn together?
Yeah, so that's just knit all the way around, then just sewn together at the end,
And then with this, I presume this, because it does mention about blocking it.
Yes.
So is that really important with this, or is it every garment?
I prefer to block everything, but you don't always have to, I wouldn't say. I think it's personal preference, but it does just kind of, I think even just kind of wetting it, and when you do that, it just brings out the yarn a bit more. It just fluffs it out, and it really does lift that stitch definition. And
what do you block on? So if you're blocking a jumper or something?
So I have invested in blocking mats finally. But before that, I used to always just use our spare bed, to be honest.
Oh, really?
So we just always put it on the spare bed, or even if you just put like a few towels down on the floor and lay them up and just pop it on and just pin it out to the measurement. Yeah.
And do you wet them completely, or do you spray them?
I usually spray them. I've got like one of those like plant mister type things, and I just go along and spray them, because I find sometimes if you soak the entire thing, sometimes it can stretch a little bit too much. Because it gets so heavy, so you have to be quite careful with that, where if you just kind of lay it down and spray it and pin it, it's just a little bit easier to manage, I find. Yeah,
well, that's a good tip, because we always ask that, and everyone seems to do things in slightly different
everybody's
ways.
got their own ways of doing it. Yeah,
it's really useful. So I'm just going to quickly go back through the patterns, but thanks, Chloe. It's been lovely having you. And you know, it's so nice to see it in reality and how you do it, and speak to you who's designed it, and you know what your inspiration is. It brings it all to life, though, doesn't it?
Good, yeah.
So thank you so much.
No,
so I'm
you're
just
welcome.
Gonna quickly go back through. I'm going through the raglan sweater first. So this is the pattern. This brand new from Chloe, brand new design. There's all the 2 different, either long sleeved or short sleeve, but it's more like 3/4 length sleeve, and it comes in sizes 28 to 50-inch bust, which I think is brilliant, because quite often with, well, whether they're sewing patterns or knitting patterns, they don't do the range, and I think it's really nice that you've gone up to a 50-inch. Often stops at 42, and you think, what about people? But you know, when you got up to the bigger sizes, I think it's mad. You know, clothes shops don't sell them in those sizes. I think it's lovely that you've covered the whole range, and it goes down to 28 as well, so it covers everyone. If you want to buy the yarn for this, all the details are on the website about how many hanks you need, because you need different numbers of hanks depending on whether you're doing short sleeve, long sleeved, and the size. So that's the Belle raglan sweater that's there. I'm going to just show you the other pattern, and then we'll talk about the yarn. This is the Charlotte ruffle wrap top, which again is available in the short sleeved and the long sleeve version, and sizes 28 to 50-inch bust. It's a beautiful top. Covers, you can wear it depending, tight or as loose as you want, and it's got that really flattering ruffle trim. So those are the 2 patterns. The 4 new Exquisite 4-ply yarns, which are a blend of 80% Falkland wool, so 100% wool, and 20% not 100%, 80% Falkland wool, 20% mulberry silk, which makes it soft and gives it a beautiful sheen as well. So the most popular is Eden, which is this lovely apple green. If you can knit any of the patterns from the book, or the 2 new patterns using this in these colourways, but you just need to check to see how much you need. That's the Eden. The next one is the Wisteria. Again, it's 100 gram hank. That's Wisteria. Then we've got Kensington. I should know these colours off by heart, which is this lovely dusky blue. And then finally we have dawn, dusk or dawn, which is like a rose gold champagne colour. Then there's the pattern book. Is the pattern book the same, 28 to 50?
Yes,
yes.
Yeah,
So all of the patterns in the pattern book do all the same sizes. There are 8 patterns in here, but there were different versions of the same pattern. So you really get more than 8 patterns in the pattern book. Only £12.95, all using the Exquisite 4-ply yarn. And any of the new yarns that we've got, you can use to make this. Oh, I've only got 1 minute. Last one is the kit to make this beautiful fishtail scarf, which is you sort of wear it in the evening, wear it in the day. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful in this lovely, deep sort of peacock petrol colour. You get 1 hank of the yarn and the pattern to knit it. And obviously, do write down when you put an order the day that this was on, because then you can come back and watch the YouTube and you can see Chloe demonstrating it. So thank you so much for joining Chloe and I today and being on Yarn Lane. It's great. Yarn Lane is back on Wednesday. We have got Sam Sabido from Adventures in Crafting with her brand new design of her crocheted poncho in 4 different colourways. You're going to love it. If you love a granny square and you love crochet, you're going to love this. So we'll see you back here on Wednesday, but I will see you back next Monday on Sewing Street. But thank you for joining us on Yarn Lane today.